Okay, so let's begin. This is Dr. Shikhar Mohammad Anwarul Islam. Welcome to my lecture station, Business and Economic Post. Today's topic is developing price strategies and program. So you know, the making a price strategy and program for the business professionals, it is a very strategic and critical task, because policy and strategy is the core process to increase the business revenue and development of the business area. That's why we are providing some views about these topics regarding developing price strategies and programs. Okay, so objectives of this presentation: understand the internal factors affecting a firm's pricing decisions. So what are the internal factors and how it is affecting a firm's pricing decision and strategies? Understand the external factors affecting pricing decisions, including the impact of consumer perception of price and value. So there are some external factors that also affect the decisions of a firm. Some factors is controllable, some factors is not controllable, because these are all external factors. So most of the cases, external factors is not controllable very well for the firms. So it would be very difficult to comply this situation of any firms. Say for example, in the COVID era, you cannot do the business process taking the strategic policy as the previous one, because most of the decisions have to take by thinking about the atmosphere of environment, that is the external environment. And especially if you think about it is the technology, because in the COVID era, you have to depend on the technology as a vehicle to promote your business activities in the different areas. So these are the external factors that is not the control issues for the firms. So that is that should be our objectives to be explained over this presentation. Be able to construct the three general approaches of setting prices. So that is what are the three general approaches that should be explained in this lecture. So the next, that is setting the price initially for product and services by the companies. So how a company set their price initially for their product and service of companies. How do a company initiate a price change? So it is also an objective and issue that how a company try to set their price and initiate, and what are their objectives to comply these sort of things. Responding competitor price change. At the same time, you can respond for the competitor's price change, because this is very important for a company to understand the competitor's strategy, why they are changing price, why they are increasing their product value, at the same time, what situation they are decreasing their product value, whether this decreasing price will increase the value of the product and the revenue process. That should be understandable, and that should be taken into consideration for the companies to respond to the marketplaces. Then understanding quantitative approach of pricing, cost analysis, demand, and supply chains. So what does it mean, the quantitative approach? That should be understandable, because quantitative approach is sometimes it is almost in mathematical approach. So you have to understand this sort of thing, what is the process and how you can calculate, analyze, and finally you can try to make a small research for the process to demand and supply chains. So these are the issues and objectives. And then I can go for the outcome of the study. So what are the outcome of this study? After completion of the study, you can learn as following. That is, understanding pricing policies, very important. That is, you will understand that how companies, especially for the multinational big enterprises, taking their pricing policy, in what circumstances that should be analyzed, and you can learn how to do it. How do companies take pricing strategies? And same as that, you can understand how a company take pricing strategies in different environment through internal and external process. How do companies adapt price to meet various circumstances and opportunities? And there are various circumstances. At the same time, opportunities also. So when the opportunity comes, then how a company act. Corona, everybody may think that Corona is a threat for the company, for many companies. But for the many companies, these are the opportunities. I can say about the IT sector. Because due to dependency on IT sector, especially the internet vehicles, many component, spares, goods and services has made the augmented revenue of the sector. So these are the opportunities for the external environment. So all the times external environment cannot create negative opportunities or negative threats, but they are also creating some positive opportunities for some companies. And other are struggling to comply these sort of opportunities to sustain in the marketplaces. Why do a company setting price in various aspects with geographical segment? To understand the geography, so what does it mean by this geographical? How do you understand the geographical segmentation? So geographical segmentation is another type of what I can say the territorial segmentation. Say for example, in a country there are different regions. So you can try to understand the regional approach, their culture, their income, their attitude, values, and by this process, population, race, everything is depending on segmenting the opportunities of a product. So you can also understand in what process you can do it by geographical segmentation. How do a company setting price strategy in the competitive environment? So that's again come. How do a company setting their price strategy in the competitive environment? So this is very important, because these are the challenges for the company. All the times they have to face in the marketplaces again and again, because if their company frequently changing their policies and strategies in terms of setting price and objectives. So you can learn after finishing this presentation. Then come to the definition. This is very important. So very simply explained, and you can understand, and everybody understand what does it mean by price. But in case of marketing process, then what does it mean, the price? The amount of money charged for a product or service. Very simple and straight. how much money it takes to buy a product or service. Service, you know, that is not physical. It is that is a so you know that the service is a process that is normally that it has no physical entity, but uh, as a teacher providing some lecture, that is also a service. Nurse is providing, working in the hospital, that is also a service. And that service is, of course, the service has some economic values. So without economic values, it has no meaning to say something about the service. Or the sum of values that consumers exchange for the benefits of having or using the product or service. So that there should be an exchange process for the benefit of having or using the product or service. Price is the one element of marketing mix that produces revenue. Very simple, that it is very much related with the marketing mix, and it will produce revenue for you and your for the company. Price are perhaps the easiest element of marketing program to adjust. Product features, channels, and even communication take more time. Price also communicates to the market the company's intended value proposition for its product and brand. A well-designed and marketed product can command a price premium and reap big profit. So, well-designed marketed product. So this is very important. So if you can design your product by increasing your feature, and if that feature is very much convenient to the customers, then that would be very useful for the customer. And if its price is competitive, then you can market your goods and services very effectively and efficiently. At the same time, you can make some augmented revenue for this process. So you understand that that is, you can sell a premium, make a premium revenue by this process. So these are the definition, and more example I can give you, that is the price has many names. So you can increase your revenue by many process, and these are some names we normally utter, that is the rent, fee, rate, commission, then assessment, tuition, fare, toll, premium, retainer, bribe, salary, wage, interest, tax. So you can say, in other ways, we can say that is also a price, because everything is related on money, and without and money, and you can have, and they have many names that you can get from that process. So next slide, you see that that is the factor affecting the price decisions. So how the factors affecting the price decisions, that we call the internal factors and external factors. So what does it mean by the internal factor and external factor, that I explained earlier a little bit. But this model is very simple, that is the marketing objectives. It is related with the internal factors. What are the marketing? Why you are promoting your goods and services? What are your objectives? That should be clearly defined and understandable. The marketing mix cost strategy. So marketing mix strategy, cost, you have to define, and you have to understand how it works, and you have to manage it. Organizational consideration, of course, views of the organization and their consideration should be clearly explained and clearly understandable. External factors is nature of the market and demand. So that depends on, because nature of the market and demands depends on the population, income, class, the rules and regulations of that country, then the pricing strategy of the companies, and the behavior of the peoples. So whether what type of income class over there and what type of culture they are following, and what value proposition they are maintaining in their mind. That is also important, and that is the competition. And then for competition, that competition is taking place by the companies by offering different type of goods and services. Other environmental factors, that is economy, resellers, and government. So anyway, that is also very important. The economy that I explained earlier, that is economy is a big player for selling goods and services. If the economy is efficient or the economy is growth oriented, then people, manufacturer goods and services all the times, and employment generation also happening, and competitive markets also creating. So economy is a big player all the times that affecting the pricing process. And if a company can produce large scale production, so they can set their price very competitive way rather than the other multinational companies. So that is the opportunity of a big economy or the rising economy, where people want to start their business, to explore their business, to extend their revenue augmented process. Now, I will like to say about the step in setting price objectives. So first of all, setting the price objectives. Then, as I say, that you have to set your price. Why? I mean, which segments you want to put your price of your product. There are many types of products in the marketplaces, opportunities. Some are very luxury products that very costly. Because if I say about the private vehicles, that I say the name brand Mercedes-Benz. So that is very costly product. So so it depends on which segment you are setting your price for your product, and it depends on your quality of your product also. So that's the important things, and your objectives will determine that what type of products, what quality of products you are going to market in the marketplaces. Then determine the demand, size of the demand, and the present demand and the prospective demand. That is also a process of determining demand. Then estimating cost. Of course, you cannot sell your goods and services without costing your product value. And if it is the below the market price, that you can gain, and if it is above the market price, that is not suitable for you to promote these sort of products to the marketplaces, because you will normally lose your revenue on that process. Then analyzing competitor cost, prices, and others. Then this is very usual process, that you have to analyze the competitors' cost, their price and offers, and their brand image also. So what brand image they are possessing. Maybe their price is higher than your goods and services, but also their brand image and brand position also better than you. Then you have to think over it, that how you will set your price that can be competitable on that competitive products. That is very important. Then another competitor cost, prices and offers. You see 4.1, selecting a pricing method and setting the final price. So one is the pricing method you have to select, and that is another way to setting the final price. These are the process of setting price objectives. Let's we talk something about it. And so selecting the price objectives, that are some bullet points why we are setting the price objective. That is the first of all is the survival. So the first goal of a farm before setting the price, that is they have to make a product that they have to survive with the break-even point of their price, sales and revenue. So survival is the prime objectives of a company. The second objective is the maximum current profit. Maximum current profit is that as much as they gain through the process of the market environment. That is to second objective. Third objective is maximum market share. This is very important. So every company wants to take the existing market share. At the same time, they want to create a new market also. So existing market share and new market, both are the target of a specific company. So they have to keep their existing market share through the policies and strategies, activities. At the same time, they have to make a target for the future share of the market. At the same time, create some market of their product also. So when a company creates their own product market or own product share in the marketplaces, then the market volume is increased, and others also can try for that share also. So that is an opportunity for a company, both the companies and the competitors, when a company try to increase a market share rather than the existing market. Maximum market skimming. Maximum market skimming is always happening for the innovative products. Through the innovation, development, then you can avail the opportunity of maximum market skimming, right? That is increasing the price. Because if you change the feature of a product and that technology is new to everybody, and if that technology is not available in the marketplaces, then you can enjoy sometime this skimming pricing strategy, both local and international market. Say for example, if you produce something that is not available in the marketplaces, then you can do some skimming pricing policy and strategies, because technology can help to make these skimming pricing strategies. Say for example, still the car, those cars can ride in street, sea or water and the sky. They are not almost available in the marketplaces. But technology already invented, but they are trying to maximize this process with risk-free technology. So that is very important to understand, because still there are something to do for the marketers to make it available for everybody, and also the adjusting the pricing. So in that case, you can make some skimming process. That is, you can get some extra augmented revenue through this process. Product quality leadership, this is also important. So always you have to think about the product quality, and you have to take the leadership. That is the focusing on product. focusing on development of the product. So some company normally focus on developing the product because they believe that is we call the product orientation. So normally they believe it that if we provide some quality product, then people will take or consume that product from the marketplaces, and that will also reduce the promotion cost also, because next time that customer never wait for the information from the others, because he understands that this product is very good. So that is also very important for positioning the product in the marketplaces. And of course, we can talk with the other objectives. So let's come to the details of these points as I explained in my way. But now I am saying something that is important in this slide here. So you see the survival. Company pursue survival as their major objectives. If they are lagged with over capacity, instant competition, or changing consumer wants. As long as prices cover variable cost and some fixed costs, the company stay in business. Survival is a short-term objectives. In the long run, the firm must learn how to add value or face extension. So what we understand that over here that survival is not a long-term policy, because any company they cannot take a long-term policy for survival. That is not the efficient process. So you see there is a picture in cosmetics, because this sort of product have to promote heavily in the marketplaces. It takes time to get a market share, because it is not easy to get quickly adopt this sort of product in the marketplaces, because you have to change behavior of the females, because those are my females and males, because the cosmetics is using by both male and females. So these are very competitive product, and also it is very revenue augmented product, because large share of market is taken these sort of products in the marketplaces. So you see, then maximum current profit, that is also I explained to you. That is the core objectives of a firm is to set maximum current profit. So that is the core objectives. Every company wants to maximize their current profit. It is very simple and natural. But doing that, maximizing current profit, they have to struggle a lot for improving their product quality. At the same time, getting the confidence of the customers of that product from the marketplaces. They estimate the demand and cost associated with alternative prices and choose the price that produces maximum current profit, cash flow, and rate of return on investment. Pharmaceutical product is highly regulated product in the marketplaces, because government regulate this product because it is related with the human life and death process. So all the government always very much conscious and careful for marketing of this product in the marketplaces. They need a lot of tests. They need to take some permission from the drug administration of the company, of the country. And by this process, if they are satisfied, a pharmaceutical company sell their goods and services. But there are some opportunity for the pharmaceutical companies to make augmented revenue, substantial revenue, because of the necessity of the product. So if you think about the corona era, the vaccine of the corona is very much needed for the peoples. So those companies can invent, produce, and supply this sort of product. They will gain more. It is very simple. But for the mankind and human right process, government can regulate this price. They can provide some subsidy if the cost is high to produce this product for the pharmaceutical companies in initial stage. That I explained the skimming pricing policy also applicable, especially in this sort of pharmaceutical products, when that product is a core value product for life-saving issues. So then you can see that a maximum market share, selecting the price of the, that is also third of the maximum market share that I explained also a little bit. That is, the company believes a high sales volume will lead to lower unit cost and higher long-run profit. These are the conditions favor the adopting a market penetration pricing strategy. That is, the market is highly price sensitive and low price stimulate market growth. So first point is that all the times the market is highly sensitive and low price stimulate market growth. So if you can produce a quality product and if you can set the competitive price in the market places, then your product growth will be increased. Then the production and distribution of cost fall with accumulated production experience. So these are the theoretical based issues that if you can increase your production through the process of acquiring long-term accumulated knowledge, then that will reduce the cost and increase the efficiency of the labors, and gradually they can work for changing the technology over time. So the production and distribution costs fall by this process. A low price discourages actual and potential competition. So if you can set the low price with the competitive environment and the product quality is marginalized, then every customer will be happy and the company will go for the scale economy in that case. And computer is now highly competitive product because you can buy it through the customized process. So whatever you like, you can make that way in computer and use it. So, and that computer, due to the government rules and regulations, necessity of the users, especially in the changing environment of COVID era, the computer price is gradually, government is trying to reduce the price, but at the same time, due to sudden demand, the price also increase and the vendors are making a substantial profit over there. Then you see the maximum market skimming. A situation when companies unveiling a new technology for setting the high prices to maximize market skimming. But this is very important issue over years, that is the market skimming. So these are also a policy of the company, and normally every multinational company, big companies are taking this sort of pricing skimming policy. Every new car's price is very high than an immediate past model. Because why? Because of the pricing skimming, because they have changed a little bit their model, their approach, their design. So that looks very attractive and qualitative for the customers. That's why they are willing to pay more for this product. So one is the significant number of buyers have a high current demand. That is also one point. Second is the unit cost of producing a small value are high enough to cancel the advantage of charging what the traffic will bear. The high initial price does not attract more competitors to the market. So this is very simple. If you set the high initial price without the brand position, it depends on without the brand position, because if your brand have not such a position in the marketplaces, then high initial price will not attract. But sometimes for the some brand, high initial price may attract the customers because they highly prefer that their product should be a high value that everybody cannot buy. He or she can buy and he and she can enjoy. That sort of psychological value customers also available in the marketplace. So you have to create this by your own initiative, own value, own approach, and you have to reach these sort of things to that segment. It depends a long time. Anyway, the high price communicates the image of the superior product. So high price communicate the image of the superior product. That I also said you earlier. So that is the issue. Then you see the estimating demand. Second point is that is the estimate. How we can estimate that? That is the price sensitivity, estimating demand curves, price elasticity of demand. So you can come to the point that is estimating demand. How we can estimate the demand? The price strategy, generally customers are less sensitive to low cost items or items they buy frequently. So customers are less price sensitive when there are few or no substitute or no competitors. So companies are less price sensitive when there are few or no substitutes or no competitors. They do not notice the high price. They are slow to change their buying habits. They think higher prices are justified. The price is only a small part of total cost of obtaining, operating, and product over its lifetime. So these are the 5 points. Customers are less sensitive when the price demand is estimating. Then determining demand, that we call the surveys, price experiment, statistical analysis. So what are the surveys? That is, survey can explore many unit consumers could buy at different proposed prices. Although consumers might understate their purchase intention at higher prices to discourage the company from pricing high. They also train to actually aggregate their willingness to pay for new product or services. That is the survey can help you to understand or explore your goods and services in the marketplaces. Then the second point is the price experiment. That is also a part. It can vary the price of different products in a store or change different prices for the same product in similar territories to see how the change affects sales. So price experiment also sometimes helps for the company to change the demand because they can experiment it by changing the price, whether the customer, how the customer is reacting when they are sold. Sometimes customers react well. If it is a brand product or if the brand has a good position in the marketplaces. And also it depends on that what type of customer are buying that product. If that product buying by the celebrities, that product is highly demandable in the marketplaces because of their followers. Then statistical analysis. The analysis of past prices, quantities sold, and other factors can reveal their relationship. Building the appropriate model and fitting the data with the proper statistical techniques call for considerable skill, but sophisticated price optimization software and database management can improve marketers' abilities and skills. So you understand that statistical analysis, that is the analysis of past prices, that is one process. Quantity sold by a company, and other factors that reveal their relationship. So at the same time, the building the appropriate model, you have to make a model and fitting the data with the proper statistical techniques to call desirable skills. So these are, they are saying about the statistical model and techniques. There are some techniques to assess the demand of the marketplaces through the data analysis, statistical model, and especially we tried for econometric analysis. Many companies, they hire the people, those who are statistically sound, and they are normally analyzing the future growth of the company through their internal and external data. So this is also a process to determining the demand. Then the second one, we see the price elasticity of demand. The price elasticity depends on the magnitude and direction of the completed price change. It may be negligible with a small price change and substantial with large price change. It may differ for price cut versus price increase. And there are many, there may be a price difference brand which price changes have little or no effect. So price elasticity of demand has some effect in different ways and process. If the price increase, then that is also an impact of the price elasticity of demand. At the same time, if the price is decreased, that is also an impact of the price elasticity of demand. So this is also need to be understood. And the types of cost and level of production. So that is the third point, is the types of cost and level of production. What is the type of cost you have to assess and level of production? Accumulated production and target costing. So if you see the types of cost and level of production, that is the variable cost, fixed cost, total cost, and average cost. You know the variable cost, that cost is very, because say for example, salary, wages, then the logistic supports. And that is all the times we are bearing electricity, and then other cost of the company. And that varies time to time. That is called the variable cost. Fixed cost, that is the land machineries, because every day we are not increasing or changing this type of cost. So it is the long time fixed cost. And then we can assess the total cost by variable cost and fixed cost and average cost. So these are the cost and level of production points. Then accommodated production. What does it mean? You can see a picture that represented the accommodated production. Accumulated production expenditures include the adjusted basis or portion thereof of any equipment, facilities, or other similar assets used in a responsibility proximate manner of the production of a unit of designated property during any management period in which the asset is to use. That is called the accommodated production. Accommodated production is expenditure include adjusted base. So you see that cost behavior over different size plants in the diagram. Quality produced per unit per day and cost per unit. So that you see that short-run average cost and long-run average cost. Long-run average cost is design a long-run curve, and short-run average cost is design a short-run cost curve. So, and all the short-run cost curve when it represent by a long-run curve, that we call the accommodated cost of long-run. So these are very simple to understand. So, and that cost should be decrease. That short curve would be decreasing trend. And estimating cost, that is the target costing. Cost changes with productions and sales experiment and experiences. That is, they can also change as a result of concentrated effort by designers, engineers, and purchasing agents to reduce them through target costing. The firm must examine each cost element, design, engineering, manufacturing, sales, and burning down projection are in target rates. So these we call the target costing. And you see the analyzing competitors' costs, pricing, and offer. That is the fourth point. So you see that is within the range of possible price determined by market demand and company cost. The firm must take competitors' cost, price, possible price regions into account. How can a firm anticipate a competitor's reaction? One way to assume the competitor reacts in the standard way to a price being set or changed. Another is to assume the competitor treats each price differences or change a fresh challenge and reacts according to self-interest at the time. Now the company needs to research the competitor's current financial situation, recent sales, customer loyalty, and corporate objectives. So there are many points involved to analyzing the competitor cost, price, and offer. It's a very important part. So learning about through the research and development regarding the competitor's current financial situation. So that needs a lot of intelligence by the others company, recent sales, other customer loyalty, how they will judge the customer. They need a lot of extensive research on it. Because making a loyal customer, it takes a long time. Many customers never ask for the other brand when they go to the grocery store or buying the regular household products, because they are habituated with some product and they do not want to take a risk of their taste and behavior. So that is very important by a company to create a loyal customer. If the competitor have the market share objectives, it is likely to match price differences or change. If it has profit maximization objective, it may react by increasing its advertising budget or improving product quality. So if the competitor have the market share objective, so if the competitor have the market share objectives, it is likely to match price differences or change. So if the competitor like to share their market objectives or improve the market process, it is likely to match price differences or change. So they have to make a price difference, or they need to change because by thinking about the reaction of the competitors. If it has a profit maximization objectives, it may react by increasing its advertising budget or improving product quality. So what they have to do, if there have some objectives to make maximize profit. They may react by increasing its advertising budget or improving product quality. So there are two ways. One is they can improve the advertising budget. So if they feel that their product is okay, the quality is okay, but they need to reach their product to the mass people so that they can understand the quality of the product and they can continue with the product. So the company can increase their promotional budget. So it depends on the confidence of the company that how they will change their pricing policies and strategies in the marketplaces. Then 5, setting a pricing method. This is very important. So how they can set a pricing method. So number 1 is markup pricing, target return pricing, perceived value pricing, value pricing, going rate pricing, auction type pricing. So you can look over here that the 6 type of pricing is presented over here. Let's explain the definitional part. Markup pricing is very simple. You see over here as an example, that is, we set the variable cost $20, fixed cost 500,000, expected sale 100,000 units, desired markets, desired sales markup 20%. That is, the formula is the variable cost plus fixed cost divided by unit sales equal to unit cost. That we get the $20, 500,000 divided by 100,000 is equal to $25 per unit cost. That is calculated. And you see the unit cost divided by 1 minus desired return on sale is equal to markup pricing. And here we get $25 divided by 1 minus 20 is equal to $31.25. That is the process of setting the markup pricing. Very simple and easy and understandable. Then target return pricing. The firm determined the price that hides the target rate of return on investment. Example, suppose the manufacturing has invested 1 million and wants to set a price to earn 20% of ROI, that is return on investment, especially US's $200,000. Example, target return price is equal to unit cost plus desired return plus into invested capital divided by unit cost equal to $16 plus 0.20 into that is 10 lakhs units divided by 50,000 equal to $20. The manufacturer will realize this 20% ROI, return on investment, provided its cost and estimated sales return out to be accurate. So these are some mathematical solution, very easy, understandable, and you can practice by yourself even in your homework. So you can do it. Then you see a diagram. It is very common issue, that is the how to analyze the break-even point. So you see in this diagram that the 20 sales volume in thousands of units in the graph and thousands units of dollar. So you see that in the point of 20 unit, 20,000 units, if a farm quantity to be sold to meet the target profit, so that is the break-even point, that the total revenue and target profit is matched with this point, settled with this point. And after that, as much as the sale increase, then the target profit is also increase. So if a farm can sell more from the break-even point, as much as they could sell, then they can get or acquire more revenue or generate more revenue from the marketplaces. That is the simple model and economic theory also. Then the selecting a pricing method, that is the perceived value pricing. An increasing number of companies now base their price on the customer experience value. Price value is made up of a host inputs such as buyer image of product performance, the channel derivatives, the warranty quality, customer support, and softer attributes such as suppliers' reputation, trustworthiness, and esteem. Companies must deliver the value promised by their value proposition. The customer must perceive this value. Firms use the other marketing program elements such as advertising, sales force, and the internet to communicate and enhance perceived value in buyer's mind. So setting a perceived value in the buyer's mind needs a lot of activities. That is, you need to provide some warranty and guarantee. Then you have to take the support of the customers. Then you have to provide or include the software attributes such as supplier reputation. So you have to create some reputation in the marketplaces. So changing the behavior of the suppliers, their trustworthiness, everything. And you have to keep your promise to the customers. And such as that the advertising, you have to take your advertising actions, Salesforce. You have to employ Salesforce in the marketplaces. And there are digital communication process, that is marketing versus the internet, or you can communicate through the mass media, internet media, Facebook, Twitter. There are many vehicles, even in Instagram. So there are many digital vehicles you can use to increase the perceived value of goods and services in the marketplaces. Now I setting the pricing method, that is the value-based pricing. So you can also set the price by increasing the value of the pricing. That is users, buyers, perception of value rather than seller cost or set prices. So you have to understand first the perception value of the buyers, whether they are expecting your product or not, and what quality they are expecting from your product, and what design and feature they are preferring from your product, which services the customer is not liking. So if you can differentiate these sort of things, then you can set your value-based pricing from the marketplaces. Measuring perceived value can be difficult because it is almost related to the psychological process. So that's why measuring perceived value is a little bit difficult. Consumer attitude toward price and quality have shifted during the last decade. And introduction of less expensive variation of established brands has become common. So less expensive variation. So this is also important to understand, because if you variation differs and costly, that sometimes makes a negative image of a brand products. And the selecting the pricing method, value-based pricing, that the business to business firms seeks to retain pricing power. That is, value added strategies can help. Value pricing at the retail level, that is every low price, EDLP versus high low price. And the next is going rate pricing. So this is also a part of selecting pricing method. Going rate pricing is also called the going rate pricing. Many price at the same level above or below the consumption. Adding the job is another variation of competition-based pricing, and seal-bid pricing. That is also going rate pricing, an example. And selecting a pricing method, that is English auction, DAS auction, selected bid auction. So these are the process of auction that normally taken by the seller in the marketplaces, and if the customer want to bid or the vendor want to bid, they can try for their level best to do it. And selecting the final price, that is the impact of other marketing activities, company pricing policies, gain and risk sharing pricing, and impact of price on other parties. So I can explain it. That is the number 6 point, the impact of other marketing activities. Brands with average quality but high relative advertising budget could change the premium price. Consumers were willing to pay high prices for unknown rather than the known products. This is very important because consumers never believe in unknown products. After judging, they may start to believing that product, but normally they don't prefer the unknown product. That's the point. Then brand with high relative quality and high relative advertising obtain the highest prices. So if the brand is advertising a lot, then they can increase the price because the demand will increase. So if the demand will increase, they can increase the value to skimming the prices. That is the issue. Conversely, brand with low quality and low advertising changes the low prices. So brand with low quality, if there is a low quality and low advertising, then changes the low prices. So you cannot increase your price. Rather than you have to decrease the price for the marketplace to sustain your product in the marketplaces. For market leader, the positive relation between the high prices and high advertising held most strongly in the later stage of the product life cycle. And there are suggest the price is not necessarily as important as quality and other benefits. So these are the impact of other marketing activities. Then company pricing policies. The price must be consistent with company pricing policy. Many companies set up a pricing department to develop policies and establish or appropriate decisions. The aim is to ensure the salespeople quote prices that are reasonable to customers and profitable to the company. So, the company pricing policies. The price must be consistent with the company pricing policy. Of course, consistency is very important because if you set price 1 month before and one level and 2 months before, 2 months after the another level, that is not good for because the customer may be confused. But in the occasion, if there is any reason to increase or decrease price, that normally are doing. Normally the Christmas Day, Eid festival, Puja festival, especially in the Muslim countries. These festivals, they are reducing the price to make increase their company image in the mind of the customers. So many companies set up pricing department to develop policy established for appropriate decision. The aim is to ensure that salespeople quote prices that are reasonable to customers and profitable to the company. So salespeople, they are believing that the salespeople understand that what price should be set for the customers. So sometimes some companies' product is bargainable. Some company you can bargain some product from the market of some company's product, but some company never like it. They fix their price in the marketplaces. Those who have high confidence to their product position in the marketplaces. Airline change those who charge their reservation on discount tickets, that is the airline charge. Bank charge fees for too many withdrawals in a month or early withdrawal of a certificate of deposit. Bank charges fees for rental companies and other services providers change potential for non-show who miss appointments. Although these policies are often justifiable, marketers must use them judicially and not unnecessarily alienate customers. So these are company pricing policy. Then gain and risk sharing pricing. So that is also one kind of policy of the company. The buyer may resist accepting seller's potential because of high perceived level of risk. The seller has the option of offering to absorb part or all risks if it does not deliver the full promised value. Some recent risk sharing applications include big computer hardware purchases and health plans for big unions. So that is also a gain and risk sharing point. An increasing number of companies, especially business marketers, who promise great savings with their equipment, they have to stand ready to guarantee the promised savings, but also participate in the upside if the gains are much greater than expected. So these are the issues of gain and risk sharing prices, and the impact of pricing on other parties. That is the other valuable point. So how will distributor and dealers feel about the contemplated price? If they don't make enough profit, they may choose not to bring the product to me. The question are, will the sales force are willing to sell at that price? That is the question. Whether the sales force is willing to sell that at that price. Because if the company is selling their goods and services through a marketing channel, that channel is represented only that company, and they are engaged with the revenue augmented process. That time they can say that we are not willing to sell this price because the customer will not react, and we have deposited a lot of money to take your agencyship, so I cannot get the return by this pricing, so they cannot react. How will competitors react? That is very important after the price setting, how when the product comes into the market. So as you know, recently a car company homemade product is offered to our marketplaces. Especially the brand is the Proton Saga. It is producing also in Malaysia. But we don't know how the customers are reacting, because it depends on the time that how much they can increase their showroom in the marketplaces. That is one kind of reflection that their product is accepted by the marketers. So customer can't judge in this way, but there are many ways to judge a company's product in the marketplaces. So let's see and wait how they act for this product. Will supplier raise their prices when they see the company's price? That is also important. And will the government intervene and prevent this price from being changed? So that is very important, because when the social interest is included in any time in the marketplaces, that government can intervene. because you cannot increase a price by making a syndicate or skimming the demand of the marketplaces. Although there are ample opportunity to produce and sell, that situation may be made intervention by the government to make the product price competitive in the marketplaces. Many central and legal statutes protect consumers against deceptive pricing practices. Anyway, and finally, I can thank you, you peoples, for watching this presentation. And thank you very much. There are some references of book over here. You can try it. And you also learn more by reading this book. Even you can go through other type of vehicles, digital media, to understand more about the issue of pricing policies and objectives. Thanks for joining the lecture station of Business and Economic Post. This is Dr. Shikdar Mohammed Anwar Islam, Prime Asia University. Also thank once you again for joining this session. Thank you very much. You are welcome now to exchange your views to the question answer session. It's open now. You can ask any question to me. Dear student, do you have any question about these topics? If you have, then I can answer.
Sir, এই চ্যাপ্টার থেকে কি কোশ্চেন আসবে পরীক্ষায়?
So you have to ask this question in English. So no, your answer is no. This is just I provide a lecture on this issue in the last class. Just this is a seminar presentation to improve your knowledge about these topics, and you can understand this way, and you can go through this certification process also. We also provide some certificate to the participants, but there is a different type of process, so you can contact me later on. Okay. So do you have any question to the other students?
Yes, sir. I got a question, sir. Sir, hello.
Just I'm hearing.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a question with maximum skimming price. Sir, I did not get that. Could you please explain again?
Okay, so this is a very good question you asked me. Maximum skimming price is pricing when we set the higher prices in the marketplaces. That is, we call the skimming pricing, because we want to reduce the sales of the marketplaces. At the same time, we want to increase our revenue. You got it?
Yes, sir.
High band, say for example, Sony changed their feature, and when they introduce the product into the marketplaces, they are making speaking prices, high value prices, and many people buy because this is a new technology. Everybody cannot afford it. They can't enjoy it fast. That is the skimming pricing. Even in the perishable goods also, the seasonal product also, you see the agricultural product, when they first come in the marketplaces, that is not newly invented or innovated, but that is also selling in high skimming pricing, because that product is a seasonal product that is available in the winter, but you are getting in the summer. That's why the price is skimming high, because that includes a lot of cost involved. So all the times that should be happened in the innovative product is not correct. It depends on the demand and supply of the product, but when a company innovates some goods and services in the marketplaces, they make some skimming pricing because they introduce a new technology, new feature, and that is not available in the marketplaces. Other cannot produce immediately. That's why they are taking these sort of opportunities by skimming their pricing in the marketplaces. You got it?
Absolutely, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is there is any question? If there is no question, then I can stop my session. Thanks for watching this topics presentation, and thank you once again, especially for the student of Prime Asia University. And also I thank to the management also, because I am using this platform for you also. And thank you very much. See you once again. Okay. Bye.
Thank you, sir.